brand new day. And Happy New Year. It's 2025. A brand new year, a brand new start for a brand new day. This your boy Reggie T with another episode of the 7 P's of Life to Renewed Mind. Hey, listen, family, we got to dig into this today. And I'm not going to even hold y'all up all night on this because this is something that all of us try to do, but for some reason we seem to never get it all the way right. And that is the golden rule. Now, for those who don't know exactly what the golden rule is, the golden rule pretty much states it's an ethical way of being right towards your neighbor. For instance, the golden rule basically says, I want to treat you the way I would like you to treat me. That's what the golden rule is. The golden rule is pretty much saying, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Now listen, this thing has been going around like a lot of different ways of saying these things, a lot of different ways of talking about the golden rule. But my whole purpose for talking about the golden rule is about the renewal of the mind. This is my reason for talking about the golden rule. Because the golden rule pretty much states that we should treat people fairly. We should treat people right. And we should treat people the way you would like people to treat you. So therefore, if I go to a good restaurant and they serving me well and I like the food and I like the service and everything, the proper thing would be for me to do is to leave a tip. It's only proper. Now, mainly it's because I come from a place where you have to survive off your tips. Back in the days, I was a shoe shiner, right? Shine shoes. And we pretty much lived off our tips. So the better service we give, we look at it like the better tips we give. But that's not always true. And I know you guys know that. It's been plenty of times where I've given guys great shoe shines. And for whatever the reason, I never do get a good tip. Not all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes these things happen. I shine a guy's shoes because I treat every guy's shoes that I shine, I treat them the same. I don't treat them no different because they're a customer. And I treat all customers the same. I give them the best for their money. And whatever they decide they want to give me after that is really on them. So what I do is, for instance, like I said again, if I go out to eat somewhere and I'm getting great service, I'm going to leave a tip. Now, technically, you're supposed to leave a tip anyway. I'll leave a tip regardless. But my thing is, if you want a great tip, then I want great service. Because if I am serving you, I'm going to give you great service. And in return, I want a great tip. That's pretty much how I go. Pretty much like quid pro. You do this for me and I'll do this for you. That's the golden rule though. The golden rule is pretty much, people have taken the golden rule and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people say, the golden rules are whack because you don't always get what you put out. And I understand that. That's true. You don't always get what you put out. Okay. Sometimes you put out your best, especially depending on where you're working at and what you're doing. If you're dealing with society, if you're dealing with the public, that means you're a customer service person. You're dealing with people. You got to give them the best service. You got to give them the same service you would give anybody else. Meaning, if I want great service, this is what the golden rule says. Well, I would want them to treat me the way I'll treat them. In other words, I'm going to treat them right. So I'm going to do right by them. So I'm hoping that they would do the same for me. But as I said earlier, that don't always be the case. And the thing is, you should never stop being who you are because of someone not providing for you what you have provided for them. Okay? Because when you do it like that, then you might as well be doing a quick pro quo. You know what I'm saying? You do this for me and I do this for you. It might as well be like that. But the golden rule is not supposed to be like that. The golden rule is supposed to be you treating everybody, all your neighbors, everybody that you ever meet. You treat them with respect. You treat them the way you would want them to treat you. Now, again, that don't always apply to some people because some people don't think like we do. Some people don't think like we do. Okay? Some people are just rude. Okay? And you're going to have those people out in the world. But because you have rude people in the world, that should not stop you from being who you are. If you are a good Samaritan, or if you are a good person and genuine, God made you that way. And you should continue to be that way. It don't matter about the circumstances, because of one person may do you wrong, then you want to stop being the same person that you really being. That means you was faking anyway. That means you really wasn't that good person. You really wasn't a good person anyway. You was only doing that just so you can get the good tip. But a good person is going to be a good person regardless whether you get a good tip or not. And that was my experience when I used to shine shoes. I had to take into account that why am I doing this? I know I'm doing this to make a living, but also I am also doing this so I can network with people, so I can know who I'm dealing with and who I'm talking with. And again, you treat every customer the same. I'm going to give every customer the best shine I can give them, regardless what type of tip they give me. Now, for a prime example, I had one customer came in suited down, sharp to the hilt. I mean, this guy from head to toe had to be looking like at least $2,000 or $3,000. That's the watch, probably more than that. Cause I'm looking at the watch, I'm looking at the shoe. His shoes for sure. He was wearing Oxfords, okay, ostrich skin. That's what he was wearing, ostrich skin boots. And I know for a fact those boots cost an arm and a leg. Okay, so he probably was wearing even more than $3,000 on him, but he looked like he was worth a lot of money. And I hooked him up. As a matter of fact, he didn't think that I could shine his ostrich because of the way the type of leather ostrich is. But I did a great job. Hooked him up, right? I mean, hooked him up. Told him how much he asked me how much it was. Told him how much his price was. He gave me exactly what the price was. And I smiled at him and I said, "You have a blessed day, sir." You know what I'm saying? Just like I do anyone else. Yes, I was disappointed. I'll be sitting up here lying to you and tell you that, oh, I wasn't disappointed. Yeah, I was disappointed. But at the same time, this to show you how disappointed I wasn't. Because the next customer came right behind him. This guy was raggedy as I don't know what. This guy had, and his boots looked like he had been walking through a mud field or something. They were terrible. But it was my time. It was my time to shine, okay? Got him up on the stand. Took real good care of him just like I did the man who had all the money. And I mean, brought his boots back to life. He looked at his boots. I told him how much the price was, and he gave me 3 times what the price of his shine was. Now, at the time when I was working at the airport, I was about 17, 18 years old. And shoe shines at that time was like $5. He gave me 3 times that. So I walked up out of there with I put the $5 out that and I walked up out of there with $15 in tips just from him. And this man looked like he didn't have a dime. This man looked like he didn't have a dime in his pocket. But that's the point. And that's the point I'm trying to make to you guys. You got to start renewing your mind. You can't always sit back and think because one person didn't do you right that the next person is going to be the same way. Because that same scenario happened to one of my coworkers that I was working with at the airport at the time. Same scenario. He got mad. He was upset because the guy did not give him a great tip. So it was his time to come up again. And he said he didn't want to go. He didn't got time. Matter of fact, it was a female that wanted her shoe shine. And he didn't want to deal with her. I'm like, Red, you go ahead and take that shine. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll take it. Took the shine, did a great job on her boots. She was wearing boots too. Did a great job on her boots. Such a great job. She also gave me 3 times amount of what her boots were paid for. Her boots costed $5 to do, and she gave me $20. Told me to keep the change. That's another $15 tip in my pocket. So he looked at me, he got mad at me, and he goes, well, that was my tip. No, that was your tip. You didn't do the job. You got mad because the other guy didn't give you a tip. Usually when guys don't give you a tip when you're working at a shoe shine shop, this shoe shine shop I worked at, we call them frogs. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. You know, because you're going to have those. But the point of the matter is, I didn't care how many frauds I had. I was going to give everybody the same treatment. That's the golden rule. Because see, the golden rule, just because it may not work out for you in one fashion, what goes around always comes around. You do good by people, people will do good by you. Don't get upset or get mad because you're good to people and people don't treat you right. I hear this from people all the time. We talk about this almost every day about how people are so good to certain people, whether they may be family members, whether they be good friends. It don't matter whether you're your brother or your sister. How you treat people, you treat them so well, but yet still they treat you like a dog. Well, that may be only that one person. But do you act like that towards everybody? Do you act like that towards everybody? That's the question. You can't be that way. The golden rule works. In other words, I'll tell anybody, golden rule works. I'm trying to fix my phone here. I don't want to get no more distractions than I already got. And I got all these kind of different notifications. So you guys, please excuse the noise if you hear it. But I'm blocking everything out. I'm darking everything out right now. So, you know what I'm saying? There won't be no disturbance from here on out. All right. Now, with that being said, the golden rule is very important. The golden rule is an ethical rule. It's a rule that many different religions use in many different fashions. For instance, we got one golden rule that says treat others as you like to be treated. Okay? Now think about that. It says treat others as you like to be treated. Okay, now we going back to the same thing of you treating people right, but you're not getting the same treatment. You're doing right by people, but they're not doing right by you. So what are you going to do? You're going to let them dictate your actions? That means you're going to be nasty to everybody that you have to deal with because of one person? No, you can't be that way. You know what I'm saying? This particular golden rule says treat others as you would like to be treated. It's no different than the one from the King James that said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Not do unto others as they do unto you. Because there's a lot of people that take that the wrong way and do that wrong, family. That ain't right. Don't do that. And that's not how the scripture goes. It doesn't go do unto others the way they do unto you. No, it doesn't say that. It says do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Meaning, be right towards people. Period. Be right towards people, family. Do right towards people, family. And you can bet you believe you're going to be done right. You're going to be done right more times than people do you wrong. That's the world we live in. Everybody's not going to be your friend. Everybody's not going to be your buddy. Everybody's not going to treat you the way you treat them. But that don't necessarily mean that you have to all of a sudden now listen to how and let other people dictate how you should start treating people. I had my cousin come out. She made a post one day. It was a while back. And she was saying the same thing. Like, you know, I'm going to stop doing this, you know what I'm saying, for people. And I was like, don't stop doing that because that's what God gave you the gift to do. To do good by people and do right by people. Now, you also have to learn your lesson because if you're doing right by certain people in your family that never do right by you, then you need to just leave those people alone. They may be family members or not. It don't make a difference. I made a post a year ago. And in that post, I said this. I do unto you and I treat you right. And I give and I give and I give and I give. But yet still I get treated like a dog in return. So with that being said, that's not going to stop me from being a giver. I'm going to continue to give. I'm just not going to be giving to you. That's how you work that out, family. If somebody's not doing right by you, then you don't have to do right by them. It's time to move on and do right by people that's going to do right by you. Period. That's how you do that. But you don't just let them dictate your whole actions. Like, I don't do nothing for nobody no more, because you got people out in the world that's like that too. They don't do nothing for nobody because they done been burnt so many times. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to do nothing for nobody. But the thing is, they've been burnt. The problem is they've been burnt by the same people. They dealing with the same circles. Their problem is they need to get out of that circle. You can't keep getting burnt by the same people. If you're doing right by people, then you want people to do right by you. And that's fact. Now, I got another one right here. This one says, do not treat others in ways that you wouldn't want to be treated. Now, that's a good one. That's even a better one. In other words, you always treat people right. You don't treat people the way you don't want to be treated. But you got people that will do that. You got people that will treat you like a straight dog and expect to get treated right after they done dogged you out. Again, you need to get around, you need to get away from that circle. Okay? Here go another golden rule. And this golden rule is the one I've been saying from the very, very beginning of this. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's King James. That's in the scriptures. That's in Luke and that's in Matthew. But the point is, family, when it comes to the golden rule is there for a reason. Now, a lot of people want to use the golden rule and they say, I don't treat people like that because people don't respect you when you treat them like that. You can't be good to everybody. Yes, and I say that's wrong. You can be good to everybody. It don't matter whether they're good to you or not. And see, that's the problem with a lot of us. A lot of us just can't get over the fact that people don't treat us right. My sister, she'll be the same way. She'll tell you in a minute, I ain't doing nothing for nobody. They don't ever do nothing for me. Can't do that. Can't be that way. Because what you don't understand is, each time you are right towards person, you are being right towards them, you are treating them with respect, you're treating them the way you would want them to treat you, you are being blessed every time you do that. Just because this person didn't tip you and you did right by them don't mean that the next person won't compensate what they didn't do, what the first person didn't do. And that's what happened to me. You can't stop being who you are. And me personally, I'm a giver. But I know who to give to. I'm not going to keep giving to somebody that be dogging me and treat me like I'm a bunch of trash. But that's not going to stop me from being a giver. That's not going to stop me from treating people right. Because people do that. You got some people that are so they are so, what's the word I'm looking for? They are so hurt from past traumas. A lot of them don't even like leaving their house because they don't even like dealing with people. My sister's one of them. If she didn't have to leave her house, my sister would not leave her house. Because she says she don't like dealing with people. And that's from a lot of past trauma she had in her life. Because originally, I try to tell her every time, my sister's a good person. But she's not the same. She's not my same pumpkin that she was when we was growing up. My sister is harboring a lot of ill will, and that's like a lot of you out there. You are harboring ill will that you can't be right towards people no more. People be right towards you, and you snap at them at the drop of a hat because your guards is up. And I'm telling you, if you can't do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and if you are a true believer of the Most High God, then I'll tell you this, and this is what I do, because this one right here comes strictly from the scriptures, and this is the commandment, the only commandment that God has given us in this new covenant. This is the only commandment that God has given us in this new covenant. And the commandment is this, in John 13 and 34. He says, a new commandment I give. Love one another as I have loved you. And you also love one another. Again, as I have loved you. Let me read that one more time. Love one another as I have loved you. And you also love one another. He stressed that. Love one another. For I have loved you first. He said he has loved us from the foundations of the earth. He's loved us before he even created the world. He said he loved us. So if you can't do unto others as you would have others do unto you, then love your neighbor as God has loved us. That's how he wants us to love our neighbors. Period. Those are not my words, those are God's words. Because if we cover this one and only commandment, it covers a multitude. It covers a multitude. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Let me repeat that again. That was in John 13:35. By this shall all know they are my disciples, if ye have love for one another. That's John 13 and 34, going down to 13 and 35. 13 and 34 says he leave a new commandment that he gives to us. Love one another as I have loved you. You also love one another. 13 and 35, by this shall all men/women know they are my disciples, if ye love one another. Period. Don't you know that's the hardest thing that we can do as believers of the Most High God, family? It's to love one another. We have to love one another with that agape love. And yes, that's hard for us to do, because there's so much corruption and so much evil in the world. There's so much hate in the world. It is hard for us to do this one commandment, which covers all his commandments. Because if you love thy brother, you're not going to hurt thy brother. You're going to be there for thy brother. You're going to have patience with thy brother. You're going to be there for thy brother. Or should I say thy neighbor, whether it be a woman or a man. You're going to be there for them. Because that's the love. So family, the golden rule, period. If you can't love each other, if you can't do unto other as you would have others do unto you, if you can't do that, then try just loving one another as God loves us. He gave his only begotten that we may have everlasting life. If that ain't love, I don't know what is. Who does that? Who gives their only begotten son for the world? Family. This is why the golden rule is so important. It don't matter whether you read it out of the Quran, out of the Torah, because all of them is in, and all of them got their own way of saying it. King James Version, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love thy brother, love thy neighbors as God has loved us. And that'll just wash all that up in one nutshell. That's the golden rule. Like I said again, I had a problem with the golden rule growing up when I knew no better. I was always about the Old Testament, eye for an eye. I'm going to do you how you did me. And that's not how that go. So family, I got to go. I said I wasn't going to hold you long. This is the first video of 2025. And I'm hoping 2025 we all stay alive. This your boy Reggie T with another episode of the 7 P's of Life to a Renewed Mind. And I'm praying, family, that you get what you have to get mentally, because it's all about the renewal of the mind. And that's facts. Real talk. Renew your mind, family.